Hey, welcome to Taylor's Trick Taking Table. I am Taylor, and the games we're going to cover today have all to do with Fuego and matches. Well, this is a lighter. I couldn't find my matches, but you get the idea. The games we're covering are Fuego and matches. I'm actually about to move from my old set here. Goodbye, old set. But I can't actually find matches. So I'll just tell you how it works and then we'll talk about it. But matches is designed by Daniel McKinley, and the hook to that game is it's trick taking-ish, kind of more climbing, shedding-ish, but you're trying to pace going out and kind of know when to leave thinking you're going to be the last one remaining. It's kind of like a push your luck game. Well, we'll get to the table and I'll tell you how to play matches. But then also Fuego. As you can see here, Keymaster Games presents Fuego, a trick-taking game designed by Jason Hager and Darren Reckner. The whole shtick to this game is you're trying to create matches. When you play the same number, a match, both cards flip. And there's some interesting things with that. The cards are where the higher cards don't have flame tokens on them. They're out. But lower cards or middling cards do. And if you win a trick with a card that does have a flame token on it, one of the lower middling ones, then you capture tokens, flame tokens, from the player to your left. And you're trying, just like that, to make them run out of flame tokens. Because if you still have some, and if your team, at 4 players, has the most at the end of the round, you win. Oh, wait. So yeah, that's how to play. I blew it out thinking that was really cool, but I probably should say. So join me at the... Oh, man. So join me at the table, and I'll teach you how to play Fuego, and I'll tell you how to play matches. The deck in Fuego is 1 to 8 in 4 suits. There's also 5 wildfire cards that range from 1 to 5. Here we have a game of Fuego set up for 4 players, so it will differ depending on the player counts. We'll go into the 3 and 2 player changes at the end of the video, but at 4 players, you're going to shuffle the deck. You're going to deal 8 cards each to each player. You're going to set aside the rest. Each player is going to get 3 of these flame tokens, and 1 player is going to get 1 of these white flame tokens. This is the tiebreaker. That's why it is colored differently. Also, each player is going to get 1 of these tokens, flip face up in front of them. They use these tokens to change the cards that they play, which I'll also explain during the trick play. Also, you're going to set up this match line here with the 1, 2, 3, 4 in order, and this is where players are going to be playing to the tricks. At 4 players, players sitting across from each other are on the same team, so this match, that's a lighter, and the pumpkin candle are going to be on a team, and then the nice token here in the Keymaster patch are on a team. So let's say it's the candle, because they're all lit up, ready to go. They're going to start the trick, and it is a must-follow game. So let's say they led. They're just going to play into the first spot there. If they're leading the trick, you play into the first spot. They're going to lead with the blue kind of cups symbol here, and it's going to go clockwise. So coming to this player here, they have to, if they can, play a color of the lead suit. So looking at their hand here, they have a bunch of different cards, but they have to play one of the blue ones. So maybe they play a 7 here. They could have, and any player could have, always added this token that they have to change the value if they wanted to. So like this could have been a 9 if they wanted to. But for now, let's just keep playing as normal. So coming to this player, they don't have a blue, so they can actually play whatever they want. So maybe they just play this 6 here. Coming to the Keymaster badge, they have a blue, and let's say they play that too. So highest of the lead suit, so the blue, is going to win the trick. The 7 here wins it. They are going to look at their card and see if there's any flame tokens on the card that they won it with, and then they're going to capture that many tokens from the player to their left. So going back, just so that's a better example, let's say they actually played this, and if it looked like this first player, the candle, would have actually won. And since there's 1 flame token, they're going to steal a flame token from the player to their left. The goal of the game is to take flame tokens from the other team, because that's how you win. So then you would discard this trick, and the leader or the winner of that trick will lead to the next trick. So it was the candle. There's a few more fascinating things though. So maybe they lead blue again, and let's just run it through. This player over here doesn't have blue, so they're going to do another thing. So when you play the same number as someone who previously played into the trick, you can yell match. It says you don't have to if you don't want to, but when you do, you will flip both the cards that match, and that's as if they are not in that trick at all. An important thing is it's just the same value. So those were both 7s. It didn't have to matter that they were different colors. They don't have to be the same colors. They're just matching on the same value. The person who caused the match is going to go into the random strike tokens and get one of them. You can only keep one though, so they'd have to discard it. So maybe they get rid of this one, and then the flow would just continue. So it was still lead blue. So the 4th player over here would play a blue card. Interestingly, if those are covered, then the 4th and the 1st can match. So if this player over here, actually, yeah, they can. If I play a 3 plus a 2, or they play 1 plus a 2 to make it a 3, then those would match. This player would get a token, this would flip, and this is actually one of the edge cases. If nobody has played to the trick, like it's all flipped down like this, then this is considered not a trick. This will just clear, and the person who did lead, so the candle would lead again. So when the candle is leading, if they play the 3, coming to this player up here, if they do this, or they make it a 3 and they match again, they'll get a token, but this will actually flip, and now the lead suit will be whoever the lighter over here plays into the 3rd. So actually at the start, the lead suit was green, but now they could play whatever they want. Maybe they play yellow, and so now the lead suit's yellow. Coming to the badge down here, they'd have to play a yellow. The other thing we can talk about is the wildfire cards. Notice they have a symbol of all of them on the top. They can be played whenever because they always match the lead suit. You're not required to play, like in this example here, if this player who had to play yellow, if they didn't have any yellow, they didn't have to play the wildfire card. They could play a green. But in this case here, since they do have a yellow, they'd have to play either of these yellows or the wildfire card. If they played the wildfire, it would win because it's the highest. So they would win that trick. This is worth 1 because what wildfires do is they add 1 to it. Let's jump to this example. If a wildfire card is played, this is going to lose because it is 1 of the lead suit, which in this case is green. But since this player is winning, they are going to get 1 from their left. But what wildfires do is they plus 1. So now it's 2. So the person who played second, this player is going to get 2 tokens from the player to their left. As lead, the player just announces the color that's a lead suit. So maybe they say yellow. Coming to this player up here, they'd have to play a yellow. So maybe they play that. Next thing to explain with the strike tokens is that they can be used for either side and not both. So when this player, number 3, is playing into the trick, maybe it's still lead yellow. In this example, they didn't have any yellow, so they could play that. And maybe they make it a yellow 8 to be able to win the trick. Or they could have used this just to make it a +1. It would have remained that suit, so it would have been like a purple 9. But they do want to win, so they're going to do that. Flow like this is going to continue until the round ends in one of 2 ways. Either players have played all the cards from their hand, and when that happens, you're going to see which team would have the most flame tokens, and then they would win. And ties are broken by this white. So in this case, it would be 7-5. So this team would win, but in this case, where it's 6-6, the candle lighter would win because this is the tiebreak. So when players are taking, like if the Keymaster won a trick and they were taking tokens, they would definitely want to take this because this is the tiebreaker. The other way it ends is if one player is out of tokens, so maybe this player doesn't have any tokens, then that would end early. So you wouldn't finish out the hand and the other team would win. So that would be winning 1 round. You would set up the same way. You would shuffle and redeal. Everyone would get 3. Everyone would get a new strike token. And how you win the whole game is if a team wins 2 rounds. And that's set up like Fuego at 4 players. How 2-player works is each player is going to be given what is called a torch, and this is essentially like a straw man hand, meaning your hand is both any face-up cards and the hand you are dealt. So let's say the other player leads with a green here, and looking through my hand, I'm like, oh, I don't have any green. I do. This card right here is part of my hand. So I'd have to either play this green 8 or one of the wildfire cards. And when you play one of those cards, you will reveal, so any cards that are not covered by anything are going to be flipped, and they're going to be also part of your hand. So when the other person plays, maybe they're out of cards and they are out of green cards and they play that right there, coming back to me, I actually now have another green in my hand. So in this situation, again, I could play a wildfire card or I can play that. And so you will be playing 2 cards to do the trick. So me, I played 2 and 4, whereas my opponent played 1 and 3. So whoever wins the trick will similarly, in the other game, take any tokens from the other player, depending on the number of things in there. So in this case, it actually might have been better, instead of me to play that, maybe I play this 2 wildfire, because now I am taking at least something from my opponent. This will get wiped, and now I will lead. And again, these are cards in your hands. You can play them just like they're part of your hand. You can lead with them, you can do whatever you want with them. And after, let's say like this is my hand and I play this, when you flip a card that has a token on it, you'll get that token. So that's really nice. Again, you only can have one, so that'll go away. And also, as you can see up here, these are the points in the game. So if I were to play this, these would actually be points flipped into my hand. So it makes sense to kind of work your way up the torch, because then you're getting points, which are life, because if you run out of those, you automatically lose. And that's how to play the 2-player game. How play works at 3 players is it's going to be 1 player versus 2 players. So the 2 players are on a team, and the 1 player is going solo. So the 1 player will actually play 2 cards, and the team will play 1 card each, and they will be using this token here. And how this works is if it's the team's turn to play, the player with the heat token will play a card before their teammate. And when a player on the team wins a trick, they gain the heat token and take the flame tokens from the solo player. And when the solo player wins a trick, they take the flame tokens from the player that currently has the heat token. So it's kind of a way to balance around who is the person on the left for that solo player. And that's how to play Fuego. There's also a variety of caliente cards, which you can use to spice up your game, but I'll leave you to discover that on your own. Okay, matches, how to play matches. How matches works is you have numbers in your hand, and someone, the leader of the round, is going to play a number, maybe it's a 7, and so when it goes to the next player, they have to play that same number, either with a 7 or like a 3 and a 4, or they bow out. And if you play longer and stay in it longer, you're going to get a bigger pot. A pot is going to grow because every time someone plays, you add to a pot. And so you want to stay in. So it's pretty much like a push your luck anti-shedding game in a way. Also what's cool is you can just flip a card face down and have it be a 1. So if you have a 6, you can do 6 and any other card is a 7. And what's cool is that lead decision of what number to choose is fun. Also, when you're done with the round, you keep cards that you want to keep. And so there's like a hand building to the next round. So maybe you were weak in one round, so maybe you're stronger the next round. It's light, but it's a fun kind of push your luck type game. And we'll do final thoughts next. Woo! Sorry again for not having the game. Oh. So that is Fuego and matches. Oh! Let me start off by saying I was sent Fuego, so take that with a grain of salt. These games, I'll start off production-wise. That person's honking outside because they know how amazing this production is. They are both so clever, Matchbox, but also the graphic design, the component qualities are so good. Just look at just the amazing attention to detail and how thick, and all of these components are just so amazing. It continuously blows my mind that trick taking is now this level of production. It's wild. But to the gameplay. So matches is not quite a trick taking game. It's almost like a anti-shedding game, if that makes sense. And it's cool for what it does. I think it's a really interesting concept. It's definitely very light. I think there's a level of push your luck to it that is interesting, especially because you can hold cards. And the holding of the cards, I think, really makes it have that level of strategic balance to it. But there's some fun push and pull. It's definitely like, it's really just a push your luck game in my mind. But it's really cool to gauge mid-round, do I stay in or not? That's fun, but definitely it is on the lighter side. You're really just matching numbers, seeing if it's going to go well for you or not. But there are some hands of matches that are very fun to push your luck. And to Fuego. So Fuego is a bit of, I would say, intro-ish trick-taking game. There's nothing too wild. I think the 4-player at teams works. There's a fun dynamic of, do I try to end the hand early by trying to always take flame tokens from one player? Because you all start with 3, so do I really try to focus on one player? I think that is the goal, and then if it's not going that way, just try to get as many as you can. The game is very win-win-win, and I know it's balanced by the fact that the higher cards don't take that many flame cards, but if you're dealt a lot of good cards, I think you do tend to do better. I think the strike tokens are a clever way to mitigate that, and like the matching system works well to where you do want to just, if someone is playing high, you're trying to match them and make sure that you kind of are blocking the opponent from getting away with any amount of winning. There's definitely a balance there. It is, I think I like it most when there's the caliente cards that spice it up a little bit, just because where I'm at in trick taking, this is relatively intro. but I think I like the one the most that adds to where if a team gets like 7 or so tokens, then they are eliminated. I think there's a nice level of, I think if there's a reason why Hearts is so good is because it has winning and losing in spades. Whereas I think in Fuego there's sometimes a little bit too much winning, but when you add those Caliente cards, I think it makes it more interesting for someone like me. As it is, it's definitely a good intro. Also, as a funny aside, like it was actually like more complicated for my group to play on the match line with the 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I actually personally, I think we're just used to trick-taking games, so we're used to knowing who leads, and that kind of all that matters. And then it's also actually more important to us to know where the card comes out from, so we kind of like that more. The 2 players interesting with the kind of straw man, the match, or the torch is what they call it. There's a level of, again, kind of that race of like, do I try to get them out of their 3 now, or do I play the long con? Especially because you want to, as a player, burn out your torch so you can get more life that's at the top. So there's a flow of like, oh, maybe I'll never lead what suit they have that's showing to try to make sure that they never can play it. It's just an interesting push and pull there. But that is Fuego and matches. Sorry again for not having it. 2 hot games. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you later. Bye!